All right. Hello. Oh, whatever time you're watching this, if you're watching it live, good evening in the United States anyway. Watching it worldwide, whatever time of day it is for you. If you're recording, I don't know what time you're watching this show. If you're watching it in the future, which you probably are, if you're watching the recorded version, hello, send me lottery numbers, please. I kind of need a new hat, need some new shoes. Pants are good. All right. We are going to have a special guest. He's also on the network here at All Access Network TV. We've talked a couple of times before. He's a great guy, but we're going to bring him out in just a second. Please forgive me tonight if I seem to have the sniffles. I don't know exactly what's wrong, but there's something in this house that's not liking me at all, or at least my nose doesn't like it. But so forgive me for any issues tonight. But please have a big round of applause, standing ovation for Shane McLain.
Hey guys, hey, thanks for having me on, Len. Good to be here.
Hey, I appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Hey, you seem to have a lot better connection than you did from the first time we tried. So
it's always the gremlins. It's always the gremlins. Usually, if I'm the last one that comes on, then it usually tries to give trouble.
I have trouble when I try to do host a psychic and try to do any kind of investigation online. You know, what if we're doing a ghost box, an SD session, or something like that live? I always have the gremlins. I've had stuff just shut down before. Once I had
you'll have multiple people on here too. Like you'll have like 4, 5, 6 people on here sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you ever have issues? Do they have issues like that?
Once in a while. Usually, like I said, it's when I'm doing something.
Oh yeah.
If I have a psychic or somebody else in that area, it's almost something go funky. Something
energy
flies
levels.
Across the screen.
Yeah.
I was with a guest one night, and she wasn't so much a psychic. She was just a one of these really sensitive people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And something kept floating around in the room. She said she could not see it with her naked eye, and it looked like it was the size of a dime on the computer screen.
So what, you guys could see it?
Yes, we could see it.
Oh,
she
wow.
could not. It would float around kind of like my hand is here. Then it would go completely off screen, and then it would come back, come down from the top, sometimes float around here, around their face, and then disappear. I thought it had to be a bug or a moth or something.
Right.
But she never saw it.
The whole time?
It was on and off for about 30, 40 minutes of the show. And she never saw it once.
Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah.
And
I wonder how she didn't see it. Like, you don't think she saw it? Like, if she went back and played it?
I never asked her that. That would have been an interesting question to see if she saw it when she played it back. But it was visible on the playback. She just could not see it in real life.
I got some good orbs too. I got some good orb pictures too. I had a friend of mine that actually was able to have a program to where he could magnify 10,000 times, and I've got orbs where you can actually see like legit faces in them.
Oh wow! Oh, what was so funny? This was not just an orb. It looked fuzzy. That's why I said it looked like a bug. And you could see it moving. That's why I said it was a very large flying bug or maybe a small moth flying around. Because you could see something moving. It was not perfectly round like a lot of orbs are.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was white. It was like a gray moth was going in there, and we were seeing it caught in her studio lighting.
Right.
So, of course, you see me. I don't use studio lighting. My face is only lit by the computer screen.
That's exactly how mine is too. I use any kind of specific.
Well, the gremlin bug is really biting you right now.
Paranormal world with you.
You're breaking up.
What's going on in the world with you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't understand you.
Oh, I said, what's going on in the paranormal world with you?
Oh, okay. Now the past Saturday night, I've been doing some work around the house, and I didn't have time to do the show. But I've been doing a midnight special show on Saturday nights, midnight Central Time, and doing a Echo Box session. And I'm getting some regulars coming by. One person says prison, so I'm assuming one of the spirits that they're talking about or themselves was in the local prisons just a few miles from the house. Whoop, there goes Shane. Maybe when he comes back in.
Maybe he'll get back in.
Yeah, maybe he'll get back in and be straightened out.
Yeah, because I know he was having a little bit of
Yes.
technical issues there right before we started the show. So maybe when he restarts his phone again, he'll come back in a little stronger.
So how have you been doing?
I've been busy. Got a show coming up this Sunday and a round table and etc. Here we go. Is he back here? See if he pops up here. He's spinning.
Yep. Spinning wheel of death.
Well, depending on what the weather is between here and there and where you guys are at too, because I know we're getting a lot of snow here.
Oh, well, this is Arkansas. No snow.
Well,
in fact, we had a high today of 58. Tomorrow, the high is going to be 62.
Yeah, he's still spinning here.
It was a nice fall day here today, and will be so tomorrow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, he's having a hard issue tonight with getting a connection. Because normally he's normally got a pretty good connection. See what happens. Give him a look. There we go again. See what happens here.
Wow.
There he goes.
I don't know what happened, but little things now. Wow. Sorry about that, Len.
You are breaking up really bad. You're freezing.
I know it cut off. Everything just cut off. We're like, I don't understand it. Hold on. Let me try something, Len. Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
All right. I guess I could break out in the song and dance number here.
I wonder if plugging in his phone, giving him a little bit more ground and energy on his phone, maybe it'll help him out a little bit. I wonder if he's got it plugged in.
That's something we'll have to ask him.
We'll have to see. Well, you could talk about the Paracon real quick.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All righty.
Oh, first we'll talk about the tours. New Orleans Paranormal Society, Voices from Beyond. They do tours almost nightly, depending on how many tickets they sold. Obviously, if nobody buys tickets, they don't have a tour. But most nights they run tours in the French Quarter of New Orleans. Some of the places they go to is behind a voodoo house, so slave quarters. Been there 3 times. I guarantee it's haunted. Another place they go is the Andrew Jackson Hotel, and I have yet to meet anybody who says that that place is not haunted. If you say the Andrew Jackson is not haunted, you hadn't been there. They take nightly tours there, and they spend a couple of hours in each location. You get 2 locations a night. So go ahead and throw the other picture up, because this got all the info. You can blow this up on your screen, freeze the video, and you can see address, phone number, so you can reserve your tour if you're going down to New Orleans between now and July 31st. The reason I say July 31st is because instead of getting a tour, come on down to the New Orleans Paracon. You throw that photo up. Right there. July 31st, August 1st, and 2nd. The same people, Chris and Jennifer Talley, will be throwing the first annual New Orleans Paracon right there in the French Quarter. First one ever held actually in the French Quarter. And they will take you to their normal tour locations for a ghost hunt. Bring your own equipment and be prepared to ghost hunt with the guest. John Zathras is going to be there. The CEO of our network, Letriana, is going to be there. I will be there, not leading a tour, but I will be podcasting the entire event. So this is a chance, if you want to sit there and meet some of the stars that are going to be at the Paracon. You look it up on NewOrleansParacon.com to see the long list of guests that are going to be there. You can go hunt with these people. I'm not talking about 5 minutes in location or 10 minutes. We're talking about sticking you in a haunted location for a couple of hours and let you ghost hunt with some real professionals. And since I will be podcasting it, you'll get some FaceTime live on the All Access Network TV and all their watchers watching you ghost hunt. That's what they offer. And that's what we're going to do. I don't know if Shane is going to make it down there. They have got several guests from the Catholic Church that will be guests at the Paracon in case somebody runs into issues, because there's going to be ghost hunting 3 nights. And you can sign up for the ghost hunt you want to go on and the locations you want to go on. And of course, that's also with the people that you want to ghost hunt with.
What are the dates on that?
Yeah. July 31st, August 1st, and 2nd.
Oh,
next year, obviously.
That would be our organization is actually out of Texas and I live in South Carolina. So I'm sure if we could plan something, I would love to have him and I, to be able to be there, especially, representing Knights Templar Independent Christian Ministries.
Well, you'll also be representing the network. I will be podcasting. My show is going to go on pretty well. It'll have a stop between the actual Paracon and then the ghost hunt. Have a gap there of a couple of hours. I won't be podcasting, but I'll be going all day long from the floor there at the Crown Plaza.
That's awesome.
At the Paracon itself. And then I'll be getting together with Gwen to make sure we have internet at the ghost hunt that I'll be at, and I will hit the different locations live while people are ghost hunting.
Do you guys have set locations already? Or?
You're breaking up again. In fact, you're frozen.
Am I still frozen?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, man. I don't know what to do.
It could be the weather interfering with satellite.
I don't know. It's really aggravated.
Because normally Shane has a pretty good connection all the time. And hopefully you can get that resolved.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Starting July 31st. That's going to be a heap of fun. They were supposed to make me a video. They haven't got it to it yet. What I've got to do is go to their site, get a few pictures, the names of the guests, and make my own video.
Yeah.
Maybe next week I'll have that. We're not working on the house until after the first of the year. So I've got a little bit more time on my hands to do that.
Right. Here we go. Maybe he's back here. There he is.
Right there.
Sorry, I don't know what's going on. I've never had this issue like this.
It could be just because of the weather, Shane.
Sean wanted to know if you got your phone plugged in.
So, okay. You guys hear me now?
You're frozen.
Oh my gosh.
We are really having the gremlins tonight.
No, most definitely.
Terrible. I've never had this happen before.
It could be the phone service as well, with like I said, with the weather being it is, because we're getting 3 to 6 inches here tonight.
Wow.
Been eating the connection. Wow. So
I'm going to drop him out and put him back on here real quick.
Okay.
See if that helps. Not do any better there, Shane? Yep, there it goes again.
Wow.
Yeah, it just could be the phone service too on top of it.
Yeah. Remember, I used to be held victim by the cell phone towers. And if you got any kind of bad weather, I would have trouble.
Oh yeah, I remember when my internet was really bad, and I would run into issues, and I finally got fiber optic, and I haven't had any issues since. But yeah, I know what it's like to go through what he's doing, and it's aggravating.
Yeah, sometimes I was running through using the cell phone towers. I had a upload speed of sometimes I considered 18, 19 great service.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I was trying to do a podcast on 12.
Or very low.
12. Yes. With this new connection, I am doing, last time I checked, I was 287.
I told you're going to like it.
Yes. And what's funny, it's cheaper.
Yeah. I'm paying $10 cheaper than I was.
I'm paying about 80 less. Oh, man, let's see, 70, 25. Oh, no, I misspoke. I did my math backwards. I'm paying about 50 less.
That's still a plus. It's
Yes.
$50 more in your pocket.
Yes.
So, but yeah, hopefully it gets in there and resets his phone a little bit and see what happens here.
All right.
But
I'll go ahead and answer his question. I am not doing a whole lot in the paranormal. I haven't been except my Saturday night. And that past 2 weeks, I hadn't had time to do that. I've either been getting up early in the morning, like last Friday. Guy came over here at 8 o'clock in the morning, and Saturday I was just exhausted working out in the yard, and woke up at 5 o'clock Saturday morning, and I hit the bed by 10.
Mm-hmm.
So I hadn't done that a whole lot, but it's interesting the spirits that I have.
Yeah.
He said one woman keeps saying prison. So either she was in prison or there's somebody in the room that was in prison. One of them actually got in contact with me on the last show a couple of weeks ago. I walked into the living room where my input is,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw some motion in the air walking in front of me, and I reached out my hand. There was a cold spot. It walked right up to me. So I asked them, please, not to sit there and walk up on me and touch me like that. And they backed off, so I got a little space.
Wow.
But I could still reach out and feel the cold spot. They got into my comfort zone, and I had to ask them to back off a step.
Right. You got to set those boundaries for that once in a while, because some will just walk right up into you.
Yeah, this one just walked right up to me, and it was female. At the time she walked up on me, I heard the smoochy sound like that.
Huh?
Come over the speaker.
Yeah, I just showed a video when I was on the Don Vick show here of what Eternal Paranormal Haunted Happy Hour did, and they had an SLS image of someone doing a strip knees in front of one of the guests we had at the Keysburg Masonic Lodge.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, they caught that on camera.
Wow.
So,
I'm surprised. Of course, I was back in Columbus, my hometown. I probably would have something like that happen because doing an echo box session, because there is a armful of strippers I knew over the years that have passed away.
right. Well, the Masonic Lodge was part of the Masonic Lodge, and then it was also a brothel back in the day. Here's Shane again. See what happens. There we go.
Is it better now?
Yes.
Sounds better.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I had to restart my router and everything. I mean, I don't know what's going on. That's never happened before.
I was going to suggest restarting the router. Sometimes that works.
Yeah.
Because I used to be on cell phone towers. I know how it goes. I was telling Sean that before I got this new internet, sometimes I was doing a show with a 12 upload speed, which is barely moving anything.
Mm.
And I would have issues. But now the power company, CNL, got fast internet, and I'm working at over 280.
Wow. Where are you located, Len?
I'm outside of Star City, Arkansas.
Okay. All right.
CNL is our local, they're independent co-op that gives us our power. They buy their power because obviously we're flat. We're on top of this hill. I'm only 70 feet above sea level. The road down below is 10 to 15 feet below that. So there's some spots on that road that go downhill a little bit that are probably 50 feet or less over sea level. So obviously we can't use dams here. There's no falls.
Mm.
You gotta have something fall. You gotta have immediate drop to build a dam to back up a lake. And we just don't have that here. It's too flat, too low. So they buy their power from the state that produces in other places. And they also have a major solar cell array.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of our power here, not a huge percentage, but 15-20% is solar power.
Do you guys have that option there in Arkansas where you can have like if it's during the day or whatever, do you guys have solar panels on your house that collect energy that
I
can
don't
run
think
it
it's
off?
an option with CNL. But some places do. Right now, most of them are scammers.
Mm.
So Arkansas has one of the more, I don't know how to describe it, looser laws on things like that.
Mm.
We've only got 3 million people in the whole state.
Wow.
You know, that's the population of Chicago and Houston. That's our total state population. Star City, the town I live in, is only got about 2,200 people.
Wow.
The county I live in, Lincoln County, is probably somewhere around 3,000.
Wow.
So you see, outside of Star City, you've only got maybe 1,500 people living in the whole county. Outside of Star City, which is obviously the county seat.
Mm. Yeah, I live in Beaufort, South Carolina.
How far are you from Letriana and Gwen?
What, about 3 hours, I think.
Okay.
I'm more on the coastline. I'm about 30 minutes from Hilton Head Island.
Oh, you're close to the beaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I literally live 2 minutes away from Paris Island Marine Base.
Okay. Well, I haven't had any outstanding reviews of Paris Island yet. But the beaches there, but especially when you get out on the barrier islands, are just beautiful.
Yep. Yeah, we have sea islands here. So you talk about sea level and things like that. We're actually below sea level.
Well, that puts you in common with New Orleans.
We have to add dirt to build a house here.
And I live close, only about, the whole town is about 50, 60 feet above sea level, but I live on a hill. So I got about 70, maybe 75 feet here. But I also live outside the town. But CNL, I've been bugging them for 2 years to get me some high-speed internet out here. So a few weeks ago, they called up and said, we are coming to you. And as far as I know, we're the only one on our street yet to have it.
Really?
Yes. Well, I call it a street. It's more dirt road.
Well, what does everybody else use there?
The people that I used to use. Almost everybody on the road has got the old cell phone service because there was nothing else available. You either use the cell phone tower service or you use the old dish service, which was satellite, which was notoriously slow, and they even put a limit on you. I could not do a podcast until I was able to pick up the cell phone tower stuff because on the satellite, I was limited to 80 gigs of upload, and you're going to do that in 30 minutes of a podcast.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
And I would have had dial-up speed for the rest of the month, just doing one 30-minute podcast. So I couldn't do it until I got the cell phone service. Then about 3 years ago, I was able to start a podcast. And now I'm on this extremely high-speed internet and paying less for it. So to say I'm happy is an understatement. You asked me what I'm doing paranormally. I do a show on Saturday nights called the Midnight Special Paranormal Show. And I actually invite spirits to come into the living room. This was a dead spot paranormally when we first came here 10 years ago. But opening up an echo box and the opportunity, the ghosts find you. And I've had quite a few local spirits coming by and have the locals. I recognize their voices, things they say. It's an interesting group. I think one of the females has a little crush on me. I was just telling Sean that a couple of weeks ago, I was about to shut down the show, and I got the input. I got the output here. I got the speaker here. I got the input, the microphone in my living room. And I walked into the living room, and all of a sudden I felt this cold spot just hit me right in the chest. I mean, all over from the feet down to about my chin. And I said, okay, back off just a little bit. But when they backed off, it was a smoochy sound over the speaker. So I think one of the girls likes me. It's strange behavior, and funny that I would be standing in a cold spot, and all of a sudden the speaker, which I was about 30 feet away from, comes up with a kissy sound, very loud. And what I do, you can see my mic if I pick it up here. It has behind my name. And what I do, I set a speaker up where it's right into the mic. I shove the speaker almost right up against the microphone, so people can hear, what is said even clearer than I do. Is every week. It used to, when I first started, I would get nothing. I leave it on for an hour and get nothing. But now I get just the regulars coming every Saturday night. My Halloween special, Sean was helping Gwen out with that one. I was, of course, for the not the Halloween show, Days of the Dead show. You got All Saints Day on the 1st. I'm not, well, you know all this. And of course, All Souls Day on the 2nd. All Souls Day is respecting everybody. All Saints Day is kind of reserved for children. All Souls Day, you kind of respect the dead totally. And you have a bonfire at the end of it. And talk about friends that you've lost. So I was naming a big long list of friends of mine that died. Not just people I knew, these were friends. Most of my friends are dead. Yes, that happens when you're almost 70. But
you're almost 70?
Yeah. I was 69 in July.
July what?
3rd.
Mine's the 27th.
Okay. How did you make?
48.
48. Wish I was 48. I don't know what my wife would do with me. But
my wife will be 41 in a couple hours.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
She
are
says,
you doing something? I heard. Are you doing something special for her? Cooking a meal or?
Well, it's just her and I. Our son is probably going to come. She got her birthday presents from me already. And our son will probably come over, and I would love to cook something tomorrow.
I just want to stay in my PJs all day.
Yeah, that's what Angie said. She just wants to stay in her PJs all day.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
Watch
Pam Harris said their oldest daughter will be 46. Yeah, I'm 69. I'm not sure how a 69-year-old's supposed to act. I mean, I've never been here before. But yeah, well, you see this old gray beard.
But that's deceptive.
Yeah. I grow a beard during the wintertime. I have a lot of fun. You notice I got a red shirt on tonight. And when I went downtown today, pick up a few supplies, which, by the way, is a 10-mile one-way trip.
Wow.
So it's a 20-mile round trip for us to go to the grocery store. So we went in town, filled up with gas. We got 3 gas stations in town. Our car only takes premium. I've got a 2006 Dodge Magnum with the 6.1
Oh wow, yeah.
liter, the bigger Hemi at the time. 425 horses, and she won't start on regular fuel.
Those things are nice though, man.
Yeah. Pam Harris, I guess she's got to leave us.
Hey Pam. Glad to see you on here.
Have a good night, Pam. Yeah, I went to town today with a Santa hat on.
Oh yeah, I could definitely tell. Kids probably looked at you all over.
Oh, older people too. They all want to talk to me. I got a shopping cart from. She just wheeled her stuff out, so I went over and got her shopping cart because I was walking back in Dollar General. Of course, you can tell where I lived. You asked me where I lived, kind of exposing it when I say Dollar General.
Hey, we got one of those too.
We have two. The one's kind of a high end, one's kind of a low end. The low end's where all the meth heads hang out.
The meth heads.
Yes.
There's a bad problem with that there.
Well, kinda. You don't here. You can leave anything around. Nobody comes around. We're a dirt road. There's people that's lived here all their lives and don't quite know where this is or the name of the street. So we don't have issues here. But if you go to Pine Bluff or Dumas or especially Gould, who's run by a drug lord, you have issues. And even downtown Star City, there is occasionally somebody stealing something out of somebody's front yard. And it's usually the meth heads trying to grab something they might can hawk for $1 to a sale to somebody.
I cannot believe how rampant methamphetamines has gotten. I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, I don't. You know,
people gotta have their buzz. Fentanyl is bad down here.
Oh man,
because of people that have had problems at work, and they they seriously needed morphine or something like that because they had to go to the hospital. I mean, who doesn't? They're going to open you up and put you down. You got to have that. Some people just get addicted to it, and their mind is telling them they're in chronic pain when they're not. So their doctors have long cut them off the morphine derivative products, which is almost any painkiller. And they have to turn to fentanyl, which is synthetic morphine.
So crazy.
And China and Mexico can't get the dosage right. So when you're taking fentanyl off the street, you don't know what kind of dosage you're getting.
Right.
And quite often it's a fatal dosage.
I had a conversation with a doctor about that, and he was like, hospitals, use that because they can moderate it, and they use a very particular kind of fentanyl in their mix that they use. But he says once you get it on the street level, you don't know what you're getting.
No, that's absolutely correct. The dosage vary. Even somebody who wants to be careful with it and take the same dosage every time, the quality and the strength varies so much they screw themselves up and end up addicted to it to where they get up, their body's in pain. Their body's is telling them they're in pain, so they go hit it, and then they get pain a little bit later on. They take it again. And
I watched the cop. Find some in this car. He found some in the little door thing, and all he did was he picked up the bag from it like this, and he was rubbing it up, looking at it, and he didn't have his regular gloves on. Ooh. And it got into his skin. And literally minutes after, he fell out backwards.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I don't know how they process it. They've just got just about being a bunny suit. Is what my wife used to
Mexico,
call
Mexico, man. They can all that kind of stuff right there comes out of Mexico. I mean,
it. Yeah,
even
it comes. The ingredients come from China. They put it together in Mexico. Colombia is a primary shipper of cocaine.
right.
South America, you get south of the border, it's just a mess. Of course, now if the gringos, as they would call us, would stop stuffing coke up their nose and fentanyl in their mouths, they'd have to find a job down there. But with the usage like it is here, there will always be a supply because you have huge demands. Because people have got to have their. I got a nephew the same way. He came up. He was 4 or 5 years old, looking for something to get him a little bit high. If you couldn't, he would spray. He would steal a spray can of paint into a plastic, and then put it over his face and breathe into it.
Off it, yeah.
He would, if he couldn't get anything else, he would sneak around to somebody who had a gas can.
That's so crazy.
And stick his nose in the gas can. He got a job once because people wanted to see how stupid he acted. They had him on a road crew, and he never did any work. They would sit there and supply him liquor time he clocked in, and he was sitting there being paid by the boss man, and he was doing nothing but entertaining the other workers because he started staggering around drunk. They were just seeing how long he'd be before he passed out. That's my nephew. It's crazy the way this.
What's worse down there where you are, methamphetamines or fentanyl?
Both.
There's not one worse than the other.
Both about the same. They have the state sometimes has these programs, and they'll have one for one or the other because they know both are just dominant here. The ones that got addicted to some kind of opioid, and the ones who just got to get high on anything, and they cook up the meth. Of course, it's fairly cheap. They'll go into a store or break in somebody's house and steal the pills, the cold and flu medications, and cook them down. They'll have the cookers, and they'll cook it down. And especially if you get to steal the pills that you're cooking it from, you don't have a whole lot of money involved. Just a little bit of propane for the flame. Of course, every once in a while, you see somebody doing it in their trailer or doing it in the house and burning the house down.
Yep.
I've seen that happen. So people trying to cook up some meth in a trailer, and if you've had any experience with a mobile home, aluminum will burn.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. In Tennessee, they had the same thing. They had meth is rampant out of Tennessee, especially like in the country parts over there. Well, up in the mountains there, this guy had a separate trailer that was on his thing, and that's what he did all day and all night. He just cooked and cooked and cooked and cooked, and he was cooking over the chemicals, and a solid sweat bead came off his head, and it hit in those chemicals and ignited the entire house.
Yep.
That's dangerous, man.
They're gambling with their lives at every level. I don't get it. I mean, if you got to have a buzz, drink alcohol.
I mean, who thought of this stuff, man? Like with bleach and Sudafed, gasoline. Like who thought of this stuff, man? Like, oh, let's put all this together and let's,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. My wife just said they want to become a ghost.
Well, he probably is by now. Whoever did it came up with it to start with. But boy, it is prevalent here. Rural has a bigger fentanyl and bigger meth than the cities. You don't go to New York and try to catch meth or fentanyl people. You got a lot of working people there. The drug of choice there is, of course, Wall Street's cocaine. Almost everybody works Wall Street's on coke.
Yep.
Of course, that's where our healthcare money goes. We're the only country on the planet who opened up hospitals, doctors, and the drug companies and made them for profit. Nixon did that, and that's why our healthcare here is the most expensive on the planet, and that's because Wall Street invested in them, because that's why Tricky Dick made them public companies so they could be traded, so his friends could make money off of it. It's the only reason he did it, so his friends would make money. So that's where a lot of our healthcare dollars go, is straight up to Wall Street, and a lot of it is straight to the local cocaine dealer. And Wall Street basically runs on coke.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, a lot of executives, they almost have to have coke because they're going, they wake up at daybreak and checking the stock market, see how Europe did, see how Asian did overnight. So they're up early. Yeah. Our healthcare system is just nuts here, and it all dates back where it was all made public. I think they should. You want to make me emperor for a day? That's the first thing I'd do. Is just tell these companies that, look, you got to buy back all the stock in your companies because you're going not for profit again.
Yeah, selling out the big pharma.
Yeah, the big pharma, big hospitals, doctors, anything to do with healthcare, it would all be not-for-profit corporations. You wouldn't lose salaries. I'm not talking about changing everybody's salaries. Not-for-profit means they're not making profit. They're paying their bills.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, Laura's got a good point. And a lot of working people, January 1st is going to be right off their insurance, because without the subsidies Obama put in because of COVID, the great big beautiful bill that they passed earlier this year takes away those subsidies starting the 1st of January. The poor people, they don't get they didn't get the subsidies. They just got Medicare, Medicaid, and Obamacare. That takes care of them. But your working people, your middle class working people, people working at McDonald's, your people that don't have insurance, health insurance. Wow, you see what Laura just said in her last post.
What did she say?
I'm disabled and it costs me $8,000 a year. And she's probably going to end up with an increase 1st of January. A lot of people are going to completely lose their health care, because it also labels where Obamacare stopped them. They had to go with pre-existing conditions, and they couldn't say no to procedures you need. With this, at 1st of January, if they don't want to pay for your procedure, regardless of how bad you need it, regardless of how many doctors say you have to have it, they can say, we're not paying for that. So this is literally going to kill several thousand Americans next year.
That's
Yep.
just crazy.
But he did get the ACA pass. That's where a lot of people got their health care.
I'm fully disabled too. I have end-stage renal failure, so I have to have dialysis and stuff like that. But it is what it is.
Yeah, I've got 2 artificial knees, so but I'm 69, so I'm on I got Social Security, got Medicare, Medicaid. So this Nicole Gaspar says, yeah, do not let it stop from following your dreams. Do not give into it like that. I don't think any of us are. Nicole is not letting it stop her. You're not letting your dialysis break you.
Not one bit. Not one bit. Actually, I'm probably more active than most people. I work residential cases. I am clergy that works inside the paranormal field. So my wife and I work a lot of residential cases, helping people that have spiritual warfare issues. And so you would think that I would back off from that, but I went for it right off. I mean, this is my calling.
Well, Nicole, you just said proud of yourself. Be that way. We're all proud of you for what you do. So we thank you for what you do, and that's what we're talking about here. You do what you want to do and what
Right.
you can.
Right.
I had trouble because I got arthritis in my hands. Now I don't have them frozen, or I'm not a claw guy yet, but I can't ball up a full fist, and I can't work out with a bag or anything unless I tape my fist and tape my wrist. Because if I sit there like this and hit somebody upside the head, now it's gonna hurt me worse than it's gonna hurt them. Because without my wrist taped and the fist held together by tape, I would sit there and have pain just run straight up my arm into my shoulder. Quite agonizing. And I have trouble writing. That's one of the most painful things I can do. I can put my fingers together, but when I try to write, my writing is hideous. Fortunately, Gail, she's 6 years younger than I am, but she has back and hip troubles, but her hands are fine. So I just get her to fill out paperwork for me, whatever, so people can halfway read it.
Yeah,
well,
my wife is a godsend with me. Just being there for me like she is. I can't imagine. What I would do without her. I mean, her and I've been together almost 17 years already.
Wow. Gail and I celebrated our 24th anniversary.
Congratulations.
She's in the living room. She heard me say that. She was in there going, woo!
That's amazing. And I mean, that's the thing, man, is everybody says, with their marriages and stuff like that you put 50-50. No, you don't put 50-50. You put 100-100.
Yeah.
I love my wife even more than what I did when I first fell in love with her. And I am continuous with that because she is my best friend. She is who I want to be around, so I mean, she makes my life worth living.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And she is my best friend.
Yep.
Laura says she's been with her husband for 38 years.
Wow, Laura, that's awesome.
In today's world, that is awesome. People tell me that 24 is awesome. 38 is really awesome in today's world.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you look at the divorce rate in the past, let's say 70 years, it has changed drastically.
Yeah. Well, see, it used to, before 1980, and you can find the stats on this if you do some research. In 79, not that many women had full-time jobs. But something happened January of 1980 where that year, more women every month went out and got part-time and full-time jobs. And when women are making as much money as the man, it's nothing to get a divorce. You're both working, you both split, say bye and move on. Oh, my first wife and I divorced after about 5-6 years.
Mm.
I see Gail is number 2. Now, I didn't get married. I was 28 the first time around. By the way, Gail and I met on a website that was based out of London, England.
Wow, really? That's awesome.
Well, she was a power lifter at the time. I was a up-and-coming model photographer. And we got to talking, and she was often hearing my tales of woe about some of the women I was dating. And, you know, her song to me was Linda Ronstadt, Desperado. That was her song to me.
Oh,
Instead of riding fences, you know, go ahead and settle down. So I did. And of course, we bought a house down here in Arkansas, moved from Chicago. And what did I start doing down here? Taking down a barbed wire fence the previous owner put up. So I was literally out riding fences.
just like the song.
Yeah, I've still got. I got this winter where the foliage just kind of cut back. I got to go out there with my wire cutters and go out and cut up the rest of the barbed wire that's still out here. He had horses. 4-acre lot, and he had about 5 horses out here at one time.
Mm.
He was a little bit of a nut job. Nothing in this house is square. He built this house back in 85. He was no real great carpenter. And the more I add on and try to repair, the more things I find out is square. You may have heard me talking earlier about me having to spend a lot of time working out on the house. We're adding a room. I had a 32-foot by 10 porch on the house. So what I'm doing, I'm having to shore it up a little bit because it wasn't properly blocked to carry weight anyway. One wall had to be straightened up. We had to disconnect it, straighten it up, and put it back in place. One side I'm walling up. I'm building a 10 by almost 12 workroom on one side. I'm building a anteroom, sometimes called a Florida room is the most popular name for it. So where you walk in a door, it's like going into where you walk in a door, you walk 3 or 4 feet, then you walk into another door. So what I'm doing is building a little anteroom, just putting a storm door on the outside. You know, the windows that open and shut so I can open the screen door during the spring. And on the other side of that, for the other 8-10 feet of the porch, we're screening it in with some plastic shades I can drop during the wintertime to kind of keep the room a little bit warm.
Right.
I'll screen it in thoroughly so we can go out there and enjoy, spring and fall.
Yeah.
And just close the shades for summer and winter. And that's right by our living room. We want to keep that room a little bit warm. The room, you see this white here?
Yeah.
There. See the white?
Yeah.
Here, way in the back. There.
Yeah, I see it.
That's Larry Curly and Mo back here above my head, by the way. But you said that's a big ghost hanging there.
Mm.
And it's up against this wall where my workroom is going to be. So I got some construction going on here. I got to finish. In fact, my studio lights that I usually use, UV lights, is on the porch just to get them out of the way, because there's 3 big pieces of furniture in this room I got to move, putting baseboards down. Plus, I got to pull out all the wires, because to get the maximum speed out of my computer with the cell phone tower internet, I wired it. Now I can run wireless with the speed that I've got with the new connection.
Hmm.
So
do you have a lot of neighbors out there where you are, or like how much property do you live on?
That is an interesting question, because that changed last year. We bought this house 10 years ago, not quite 10 years ago. March, April will be 10 years. With a house that needed a roof and some other work, on 4 acres of land for $18,500.
Wow, what?
And that's a 3-bedroom home. Now it's only got 1 bath. It's got a 12 by 24 kitchen. It's got an addition added on to the original house. The original house built in 85. By 7 or 8, 10 years after that, he added a 32-foot. Oh, wait a minute, 30 foot, 24-foot addition. And that's the bedroom and a kitchen. I've got a 12 by 24 kitchen, which just sounds like a lot of room. Then a bedroom is in the other half. Then a few years ago, I sold the trees off the 4 acres and got almost $3,000 for trees.
Really?
Last year, the neighbor behind me, his son come of age and was engaged, about to be married, and he wanted, because of the law here, you had to have 3 acres to have a septic tank. So they divided it up 4-acre lots. He wanted to get cheap as possible a lot that was linked to his father's. So what he did, I sold him the back 2 acres, which I didn't need. I'll be 70 years old this summer. I do not have the legs to work 4 acres or to even cut that.
Right.
So I sold him 2 acres for $5,000. That was totally wrecked from where they took down the trees. It was really messed up and needed a lot of work. And him and his dad went out there and worked for weeks, getting all the scrap wood out of it, cleared it up, and he went talked to a trailer company and dumped a beautiful double wide in the center of that 2 acres. So I got him back there. I got his dad next to me. Granddad is behind me, because they're now, what they did, I got grandfather to go under that law. Since I bought the lot, it was legal to have a septic tank. We checked the law. They godfathered me in. And he just hooked his up to the other lot, which makes them having a 6-acre lot now. I got somebody across the road from me, but my house sits almost dead center of the 2 acres. Now, on the right in front of me is 2 4-acre lots, empty, still full grown with trees. And somebody rents the house the 3rd lot over.
The trees that you had on there, were they pine?
No, they were oak.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah, we needed the money. And I don't like trees that close to the house, because you have a windstorm, limb falls down, you need a new house. So cut all that down for right at $3,000. So do the math: $5,000 for the land, $3,000 for the trees. Take that away from $18,500, and you see what I really got in this house. Might as well
Yeah.
say $12,000 in the house. And of course, I got any improvements I'm doing, put the roof on it. Figure I've got maybe $25,000 invested in this house. And that's not bad. Like I said, it's 3 bedrooms. I'm adding a room that could be used as a bedroom because I'm putting insulation in the workroom so I can sit out there during the winter and summer. And Mr. Ghosty here hides a window. So if I wanted air conditioning, all I got to do is open this window. I got my air conditioning. You can see the corner of it way up here by
Right. Yep.
Curly. You see that little right up here.
Right.
The little white thing right there. That's the bottom part of my mini split that I have. And with the mini split blowing here with a window right here, that room was going to be cool during summer if I just open that window. Or it'd be decently warm in the winter.
I lived 7 years in Colorado, and people there have swamp coolers. You ever heard of one of them?
Yep.
It's very interesting how they work.
Yes. I wouldn't care for doing that here. And now, do you spend much time on YouTube? If you want a few laughs, she's got a great personality. Look up Wonder Hussy.
Wonder Hussy?
Yes.
Okay.
On YouTube. She, past 7-8 years, she makes a pretty living because all her videos are monetized. And Nicole's talking about real true country here.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, people use swamp coolers there, and like the swamp coolers will sit on. It's usually on the roof, and it's connected with like a garden hose. But the water is so cold there.
Mm-hmm. The reason I brought up Wonder Hussy is because she bought a few years ago. She moved from Vegas to over there around the edge of Death Valley.
Oh, okay.
And the guy that bought it from cooled it with a swamp cooler. But you've just bought up a major league point. Your friend that had the swamp cooler had some really cold water. Guess what they don't have there? The water's not cold. And it's not that good. So
it's just pressure air, really.
The swamp cooler on her place struggled to get it below 90 degrees on a hot day.
Oh, man.
So she discarded the swamp cooler and got her a couple of mini splits. And now she's happy. I've actually got two. I got 2 small ones, one for each room in case I want to set it to different temperatures. Just one head units. Over the winter, I'm going to put another head unit in the bedroom on the other end of the house. And then when I add on our new pantry, I'm going to put a tri-head unit, bigger one, where it blows into my living room, blows into the kitchen, and blows into the new pantry. Because all that is all connected. There's no doors even between those 3 rooms. So I can have it the same temperature. Lots of Bigfoot sightings there. People talk about Bigfoot. There was a show. In fact, there's been a couple of cryptid shows have actually come down to Arkansas and done the shows searching. They really didn't do a whole lot on the shows. There are some people who said they're out there.
We have Lizard Man here.
Ah, Lizard Man. Okay. We have basically your standard wood cryptids. As I told you earlier, Arkansas only has 3,000 people. 3 million people. And with a small town here, you've got a lot of farms. And that's the only thing that inhibits the movement of cryptid here. But I've also got a great big man-made lake. You had a fairly large creek running into it, and a bayou that touches it. It actually runs through the lake, which is why they made the lake there. You had a creek that ran into a bayou, and so they had a big dip in the land there. So they just put up a couple of dikes and made a nice man-made lake, which you think is prime Bigfoot country. There's plenty of deer here. We actually have a couple of bears here. I've had up to 7 deer walking through my front yard. So it's plenty for a cryptid to eat. But
what is the main cryptid that you guys have there that's recognizable?
The regular Bigfoot. There's also, to answer your question even further, there is some kind of monkey-looking thing that say here is Arkansas. Of course, I lived in the southeast corner. Get up in the Ozarks, which is the exact across state, diagonal line, is where Fort Smith and Fayetteville are. And there you get up into the Ozark Mountains. You're getting a whole different type of weather, temperature. It's always colder up there. Even during the summer, it's kind of cool. And down here, we're sweltering. Because of being as low as we are, we actually have more Louisiana weather because we're not that far from Monroe, Louisiana. I can get to Monroe in about an hour and a half from here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're pretty close there.
Of course, it also puts me just a few hours away from where Bonnie and Clyde got shot. I'm actually, since I've got the high-speed internet, I've also picked up Canva. Well, I do use Canva. So, Canva, I did say Canva on the air. So, y'all owe me a $25 check for every time I say Canva, Canva, Canva. But I plan on making a video of some of the video footage I got down there. I actually got Clyde talking on the Echo Box and the Ghost Box. I asked him why he did it so long and got shot and shot so many police officers. And he said, I did not want to go back to jail. And when you get a sentence that long on a Ghost Box or an Echo Box, what are you doing? Yeah, that's not radio.
Right.
It's not radio, or it's not in the Echo Box. It's not in the programming. You get a complete word with Echo Box, you got to wonder what's going on because there's no complete words in their library.
Right.
And you get a complete sense like that where Clyde said, I did not want to go to jail.
Yeah, no kidding.
What are you doing here besides paranormal? That's the only explanation.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I can definitely see it, because I don't even think that the intention with Bonnie and Clyde was like it was. I think it ended up being that way because he had to do what he had to do.
Well, they were 2 kids brought up in the very heights of the Depression. Their families literally, the old Southern expression I'm sure you've heard of, didn't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of.
Right.
And they did the only thing they could. They never had a big robbery. I think their average take on their robberies was $20, $25. That's about average as they've kind of figured out with all their robberies. Some of it just got loose change because they always hit smaller stores. And during the Depression, there just wasn't a whole lot of money to have. His big thing was, of course, stealing Fords. He loved those V8 Fords because at that time, a V8 Ford would outrun anything else on the road.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then when I was talking to some other people on this network, Shane included, talked about the weapons that they had. The BAR was a rifle that was developed by Browning. And the Thompson submachine gun.
That's what I was about to say. Didn't they use like a Gatlin too?
I think he had one. He didn't use it very much. I think he was that was kind of hard to carry around.
Didn't he use it with that major shootout with the police?
He may have cranked it up there, but usually his weapon of choice was the BAR from Browning. Both Browning and Thompson developed these guns for World War One. Both of them came in a little bit late for the United States involved in World War One. People loved the BAR and Thompson in World War II. If you watch an old World War II movie, you usually see the lieutenant or the captain, who's ever in charge of that, the lower officers, with a Thompson in their hand.
Mm.
Now, usually they don't have the drum. That was gangsters. Because in the field, the drums would stick and get hung up. They'd jam up. A little bit of dirt, a little bit of dust. In the mob scene, you keep the thing clean. You got it loaded clean. And you go into a place like St. Valentine's Day Massacre, for instance, and you can unload the whole drum, 100 rounds. And that's 45 caliber pistol ammunition. Not good from a distance. It was developed for a trench broom, where you could just go up there, and even with a long clip, you still got 30 or 40 rounds, and just spray it into a trench with 45 caliber pistol ammo. And the BAR was 30-06, but had a really long casing. The whole bullet and casing was about like this with a BAR, and that packed wallop. It's also some of the guys called it heavy, but if you look at some of the pictures they found when they tried to get, they raided where Bonnie and Clyde were, and they got out of there but left most of their stuff, including a camera with undeveloped roll of film. That's where those pictures came from when they're posing in front of the car. Bonnie and Clyde did not have those. They left it in one of their hideouts when it was hit by the police. But Bonnie is shown. Bonnie was a little nothing. She was barely over 5 feet, if that. That may be giving her shoes to wear. But she's standing there, acting like she's pointing a gun, no clip in it, at Clyde. She's holding a BAR with one hand. So you start studying Bonnie and Clyde. She was a little skinny, short, nothing. Probably did not weigh 100 pounds, because they struggled to eat. They ate most of their meals over a campfire because they couldn't check in hotels, especially the last few years. They couldn't check into a hotel. They had a couple of abandoned buildings they used for hideouts, but most of the time was spent in the car. Or they spent nights in the car. And that's where they had trouble with their other gang members, because you get 4 people in a car whose top speed is maybe 50 miles an hour going downhill, and you're cruising at most 35, 40 for hours, driving through various states, and you're just driving constantly, just stopping for refuel and change drivers. Tempers flare. And we'd struggle on a 12, 14-hour road trip during the daytime.
Oh,
where
yeah.
we spent the night in our house, and we were going to spend that the next night in a hotel, but we got to drive about 14 hours, all the daylight hours. We'd struggle with 4 of us in a car, not fussing and fighting. Oh, well, I'm glad your friend Nicole got an apartment. That was not something Bonnie and Clyde could do. They lived in that car, and that's why they kind of broke apart. In fact, it was one of the gang members whose uncle, because he was arrested. He got caught for having a lower sentence. He basically turned Bonnie and Clyde in, told them where they were kind of going to be, and got his uncle to park his truck on where they thought they might be. and disable it by pulling the tire off, figuring they would slow down. And although they spent almost 30 hours in the bush, can you imagine 5 men can't build a fire, 30 hours sitting on the ground in the brush, waiting on them to come by? They were probably minutes from saying, okay, let's wrap it up, forget about it, they're not coming, when they heard McLain coming down the road. They recognized it was a V8 Ford, so they thought they'd stay there and let this car go by. It was Bonnie and Clyde.
Mm.
They got an ambush museum down there, and they got a car they used in a movie that shot up very, very similar to the actual car they were shot in, which is in a casino out in Vegas. They almost measured where the holes are and shot another one up, painted it the right color, and then measured all the bullet holes and counted them and put the bullet holes very, very close to where they are in the original car. Train museums are haunted. We got one here in Pine Bluff. I've been meaning to try to talk them into letting me go at least over a day. There's not a busy museum. Of course, it'd be interesting to get in there in the evening, but I got to come up with the money. Right now, I'm redoing the house.
Do you guys are people over there in Arkansas pretty receptive to people that investigate paranormal activity?
Depends on what part of the state you're in. Now, in Little Rock, they actually have a Paracon at a military museum, which was a MacArthur Military Museum. Because in one section, Alton, yeah, Laura's got a point. That the MacArthur Museum is haunted because one section that was standing there back then, they kind of had to rebuild the place. That's where MacArthur was born. He's normally associated with California, which is where he spent most of his life. Well, actually spent most of his life in the Philippines and Japan. But as far as home, he considered, when asked about it, he had an address in California. When pressed, where he considered West Point home. But that museum is haunted. I've investigated there before. They had a young kid who was a spy for the Confederacy, and the Union people caught him there, and he was hanged.
Oh wow! Yeah.
By the way, there is something about. Well, I'm a big historian for the westerns. You don't say a man's hung unless you're in the foreign business. Curtains are hung. A man is hanged.
Hanged.
So when he's on the end of a rope, he's hanged. Now, if he's in a foreign movie, he's hung. That's the best way to remember it. But he was hanged right there, and they have a memorial at the spot where the gallows were built to hang him. And I have gotten through Echo Box him saying several words.
Oh wow! Yeah,
including I was hanged. So
you have identifiable people that come through, like so you know exactly who they are.
The people who come by on Saturday night, they don't give names. Like I said, you got a couple of women coming here. One of them says prison. One of them, all she says is rape.
Rape.
So I'm assuming she may be a victim of rape.
Mm.
See, Arkansas has pretty long history. You had where the Louisiana Purchase was first started measuring out, actually just south of here in Arkansas. So we have Arkansas's history going way back to the Louisiana Purchase. And you had, when slavery ended, you had most of the blacks that have been here, since the Civil War, came up from Louisiana. And you had a lot of the whites that are here come up from Louisiana to escape Catholicism. I'm not recommending one or the other, but that's just facts. Louisiana, of course, is known for sugarcane and cotton at that time. They're known for sugarcane and oil now, and rice. Louisiana is number 2 in the country for rice, but they are number 2 to Arkansas. We are the number 1 rice producer in the country. You buy Southland rice in your local grocery store. That came from a plant probably less than 20 miles from where I'm sitting.
Wow.
We have a lot of Mennonites down here, and boy, they know how to do some corn. They bred really, really sweet yellow corn with some really, really sweet white corn. And where you eat the whole kernel, or you do like we do, we like cream corn. We've got a thing we put on a Dutch oven to cream it with. Oh my gosh, that's good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That hybrid corn, oh goodness. And we can, and they sell it by the bushel. You just go, how many bags you want? Just call on the phone and say, I'm picking up 4 bags. Because they're used to people either coming out and picking up one and cooking it, or they have people that come over there and you can get it by the truckload. Because they have an outdoor building, just a shed with just a roof over it. And they sit there and go 14, 16 hours of the day with corn, still in the shuck, going through the machinery and getting bagged. So we eat good around here. Eat healthy too. I mean, you got the corn, they got peas, everything else, green beans. It's all good. And just a few miles from here, put out by the Mennonites.
Yeah, my grandmother lived it in Blackville, South Carolina, and the Mennonites were there too.
Yeah, to answer your question, we was talking a while ago. I said, depends on where you are. Here, the reason I brought the MacArthur Museum in Little Rock, nobody says anything because they have a paranormal conference there. They can't really say anything. But down here, not many people go for that. They think that, well, I got a neighbor across the street. Charles and I have not spoken much in several years because when his wife, her religion is Christianity, but evangelical, and she attends church on TV. The big TV churches, did you say? She does that. She does not go to a local church. And she believes, like so many people churches do down here, that when you got a ghost box, spirit box, whatever you got, echo box, you're talking to demons, you're not talking to ghosts, because there's no such thing as ghosts.
People need to stop that.
Yeah. I thought I was going to do a private investigation several years ago. It turns out, the more I looked at it, they do have a spirit problem. The husband wanted to see our paranormal investigator. He was a Ghost Adventures fan. He wanted to see one in his house up close, just to see it. His wife, however, was evangelical. I always have trouble with that word, evangelical, who thinks you're talking to demons. So she would not allow me in the house and cancel the investigation. They had a spirit in there. One of her relatives is where they got the house from. The relative that lived there before was murdered. And of course, the murdered person is in that house wanting to tell her who did it because it's an unsolved crime. It's an open case. Been that way for a couple of decades. But the ghost did not want to tell me. Would only tell her, and she doesn't want to listen. So they do have a spirit problem there. And as long as she says, there's no such thing as ghosts, they will constantly and always will have a little bit restless spirit because her relative wants to tell her and her only who killed her. So yeah, that's to your point.
Yeah, I live in Carolina, so I mean we have, the Bible Belt, things like that here, and people have a bad misconception of that, and that's one of the biggest reasons why. I mean, I've studied theology for over 30 years. And I mean, I was a full-time pastor for 3.5 years. But the problem is that people would come in, families would come in that have, write down, spiritual warfare issues. And the only thing that they would do is like, oh, we'll put your family down on the prayer list. People, they find it easy to preach about spiritual warfare. But when it actually comes to boots on the ground spiritual warfare, churches really don't know what they're doing.
Right. That's where I think you would enjoy New Orleans because Chris Talley, which is the male half of the couple that's doing the Paracon, she's the face, he's the money. They're both great people. He works for the Catholic Church there in New Orleans. If they have somebody go to them saying they have something in their house, he goes in there first, and if it's just an easy ghost, he goes ahead, he fixes it, and moves on like any of us would. But if it's kind of demonic, there's a real issue there, gets a little ugly, he turns it back over to the Catholic Church for an exorcism. And some of the people he works with in the Catholic Church will be at that Paracon. So I'm sure you could get in some interesting conversations.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because we're Knights Templar, we're independent. We're not associated with the Roman Catholic. We are independent Catholic ministries. But we are all over the world. We have people in Uganda. We have people in Nigeria. We have people in the UK, Australia, in West and South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got them everywhere. And we're modern day Templars. We live by the values, the oaths, of the Templars. But we are very, very biblical based. We rely heavy, on a lot of theological background.
Right.
Because theology is broke down into two words called theos and logos in the Greek, which literally means the study of God. It's simple enough to where a child can understand it, but it's complex enough for a professor to teach paragraph by paragraph.
Well, so, I have a lot of respect for you and your organization. Now, if Sean would throw up Nicole Gaspar's last post again. He had up there for a second. She said, I like to do remote work.
Oh, yeah.
That example where she said, where I said the wife did not want me in the house. How did I get the information that I had, that I just stated? Remotely. She didn't want me in the house investigating in person, so I just looked into it remotely. The spirit there did not like me being in the house. In fact, it got a little bit physical because they are quite frustrated because they realized by that time that their ancestor or their just a generation removed did not believe that they were there.
Mm.
And she desperately wants to give that information about who killed her to her descendant. And the descendant doesn't want to listen based on religious beliefs. Down here in southeast Arkansas, Catholicism is not very popular because they came from Louisiana to get away from Catholicism. Now, like I said, you get up north, Fayetteville, you don't have a problem. They've got a few people working paranormal in Fort Smith, which is way across the state from me, way north and way west. Fort Smith, you hear it mentioned in a lot of westerns. Oh my gosh. I'd say maybe a quarter of western movies and probably about an equal number of western shows. Sooner or later, we'll say, oh, they just came from Fort Smith, or this person was originally from Fort Smith, or he was in Fort Smith in 10 years before and did this. Fort Smith is right on the border with Oklahoma, and that's why a lot of westerns mention it by name. Fort Smith had a fort there, also had a Native American group living there. Okay, can you remember 2/3 of Oklahoma's reservation?
Mm.
So Fort Smith had his share of activity in the the Wild West times. Okay, Nicole Gaspard, I guess you are leaving us. Have a good night. And if I don't talk to you before, have a very Merry Christmas.
All right, Nicole, take care.
Fayetteville is further up north, and of course, that's the home of the Arkansas Razorbacks. It's just a college town. Little Rock, you have a little bit of people, like I said, they got a Paracon that will go along with it. And some of your religious people do believe in it a little bit. But down here in the southeast corner, no. I've had some people that don't want to talk to me. Now, when I first moved here, we had not even unpacked fully in the house. And we, of course, buying the house, we had to go down and get it registered, all the paperwork. Talking to the person that was in charge of that, and she mentioned that she was retiring in a couple of weeks and that she thought the courthouse was haunted. I'm not going to go too long of a story here, but I said, well, you think I can slip in here one night? She said, oh, yeah, my last night here. So she was locking everything down on Friday, locking the whole courthouse down, and she allowed me to go in there and investigate for several hours. Come to find out, their courtroom is haunted. This city, Star City, was founded in mid 1870s. In 1850, a gentleman decided he'd raid a ranch up in Pine Bluff, and yeah, that happens, Laura. I can see that. He stole some horses and cattle from him, brought them down here to this area, this camp, what would be Lincoln County, in the future Star City area. Like I told you before, there's a big creek here, and the longest bayou on the planet, the Bartholomew Bayou, and it's fairly good size because it used to be where the Arkansas River flowed.
Mm.
By 25,000 years ago, the Arkansas changed its course. The Mississippi has changed its course since white people have been around 30 or 40 times. So it's actually amazing that it hasn't changed course again in 25,000 years. But plenty of water to water the horses, but also with softer ground, plenty of tracks. The guy who owned the horses and cattle followed the tracks, came down here, caught the guy with his horses and cattle, and hanged him from a tree. That tree is here in the future Lincoln County, not too far outside of Star City. His spirit is looking for justice because the guy who owned the horses, of course, just lynched him with no trial, which technically is murder. So what they want is a double trial. Him to be convicted of stealing horses and cattle, and the other guy convicted of murder. So they're hanging around in the courthouse waiting on me to talk to judge and to go in there one night having a mock trial. But since that person left, there is nobody in that courthouse interested in me walking in there with any kind of paranormal equipment. And that's one thing I did. Sean and I were talking earlier. Well, you heard some of it about how things on the internet you can go nuts and have all kinds of gremlins. I'd met some psychics in a show. If you ever heard of Scott Miller?
I don't know.
He's done podcasting since the ability came up. He was one of the originals. He used to do a lot of ghost work, but then he had a alien experience. So now his show is about 90% aliens. But he's been podcasting for a decade, as long as he's been able to get a microphone on the internet. He also worked at a radio station. So his podcast is actually aired on, I believe, 4 terrestrial stations up there around Vancouver. He's Canadian. But I bring him up because I used to listen to his show most nights, 5 nights a week, and knew some of the psychics there. They knew I was doing an investigation. So I went to the chat room downstairs outside the courtroom and got them on and told them what I was doing. So they told me to put pennies in the seats in the courtroom so they could focus in. Now, in front of about 12 to 15 curious people who had the guts to go to a paranormal investigation, basically, since I was in there free, I entertained 12, 15 people, sat in the pews of the courtroom, saw me gather this, write it down, and then the daughter of the lady who had opened the courthouse up to me manning a computer down on the first floor, talking to the 3 psychics. They gave her information. She wrote it down. She came upstairs 2 or 3 times where we compared notes just in front of everybody, and we had the same information. Computer was downstairs. There was no speaker. I was getting information from the spirits. She was getting information from psychics who was tuning into the spirits. And here she was coming up. Some of the people wanted to go ahead and leave at that point because they saw it happening. Saw that she was talking right in front of them. All this was being exchanged in front of them. So there was no arguing that she was getting the same information downstairs. I was getting upstairs. And some moments, okay, I want to see ghost hunting. I've seen it. I'm gone. So it's kind of an amazing ghost hunt. Somewhere I've got their names of the two men.
Hmm.
Because I got names, the year 1850, stolen horses, stolen cattle. So that was interesting investigation. To show you a little bit of history, a horse, not a gallop, not like you see race horses at Churchill Downs or anything, but a normal that you don't see much in Western movies. Sometimes you see when they're approaching a building, the horse seems to be at a comfortable little trot. A horse is only good. A really good horse, if you want to stretch him out, can go 35 miles in a day.
Mm.
Again, depending on the day. Daytime, winter, of course, is a little bit shorter. Unless you want to go ahead and stretch them out at night. But they're only good for about 35. That's about as tops. The average is about 25. Star City is directly in the middle between Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and Monticello, Arkansas. And originally, it started just about a mile outside of town as a way station where people could put the horse in a stall, feed the horse, water the horse, and maybe sleep on the ground overnight. And then they continued their journey because it was a 2-day. You want to go from Monticello to Pine Bluff, it was a 2-day trip on a trotting horse. And that's why the city was founded. Halfway between Monticello and Pine Bluff. So if you want, look where it is on the map, find Pine Bluff, go straight down. And when you go to Monticello, you go too far, go up about halfway to Pine Bluff, and you'll see a tiny little dot there called Star City.
Very interesting.
And that's what's fun about knowing a little bit of Western history. And, history is an interesting subject to me. I can talk about it all the time. Did you see the movie with Kevin Costner? Wyatt Earp? Tombstone. Not Tombstone. But Wyatt Earp. They said, you remember early in the movie when his first wife died, he just stayed on a constant drunk, burned their house down, which is actually true. And he did go a little nuts there for a while and was jailed for stealing a horse. May not have happened quite like they showed in the movie, but he did steal a horse. And he was going to be for trial. They just said Pine Bluff in the movie. It actually happened in Eureka Springs. Much further north. Pine Bluff is here in still south of Little Rock, which is pretty much in the center of the state. The Crescent Hotel up there in Eureka Springs is not that far south of the Missouri line. And that's where Wyatt Earp got put in jail for stealing a horse.
Well, gentlemen, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark.
Well, we got kind of messed up at the start. Shane, we really haven't gotten much into you. Except you said you are a bishop. In Templar, Knights Templar.
Yeah.
You said worldwide organization. You got spots all over.
Yes, sir.
I find that fascinating.
Yep. And we also have a paranormal team too. We have Outer Realms Paranormal, where we do all our investigations in-house.
Okay. Where can people find you if they want to talk to you about
Angie and Shane McLain, Outer Realms Paranormal, Knights Templar, Independent Catholic Ministries. You can find any of those sites, all access. I'm a little bit of everywhere. So please, if you guys ever have any questions, you want to talk spiritual warfare with me, You want to talk paranormal, anything with me, I am an open book with it, and I'll be glad to speak with any one of you.
All right. Well, Shane, I'd very much, if you come to New Orleans, I would love to get you down there. I can't say you're a guest where I think they're pretty well pulled up as far as guests goes. But if you could slip in, Latriana is a guest. They are providing her a room and other stuff. They got a contract. I'm not going to talk about that. Uh, but can you fly?
I can.
I would recommend you fly in, not drive a car. Parking in New Orleans is atrocious. Now,
Oh,
the July 31st start date, that's their slow time, which is why he's having the Paracon in the middle of the summer. Nobody
mhm.
goes to New Orleans in July and August because you've been preacher in church. I hate to say it, but it's hotter than hell down there.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure.
100 degrees temperature and 95, 96, 97% humidity is not a good time.
I
And that's
live
what
with
you
it
got.
right here. We have the
Fortunately,
same kind of temperatures right here.
fortunately, everything's inside except at night. Now, of course, down in New Orleans, 87 degrees is a relief at night, and you still got over 90% humidity. So that's considered a break. At least the sun's not beating on your head. So but there's no place to park cars. So you need to either fly or rent a car and turn your rental car in, then get down to your hotel, then just pick your rental back up and drive back home if you had to. That's what we're doing. We're driving, renting the car for one day, going down there, turning it back into Enterprise, and just picking it back up Monday. And you want to stay down there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights because it's going to be ghost hunts all 3 nights. Even after the Paracon is over on Sunday, there's still a ghost hunt that night.
That's
So
all.
people who stay in the hotel need to stay 3 nights. Love to get you down there because there's going to be, like I said, there's about 4 people from the Catholic Church down there. So I'm sure you could get in some interesting discussions by just all of them are going to have a little seminar. You slipped into the seminar, you could ask them a few questions, and you and them will probably go off somewhere and go to one of the local restaurants and sit there and have a nice long talk. I think you could have a good time.
Oh, 100%. I love speaking. I love being able to speak, about spiritual in nature things, spiritual warfare, just spiritual in nature. Um, I'm really into it. I'd love to hear why people believe what they do. I love hearing, because I have a very, methodical clearing and cleansing that I do. And I have a very theological clearing and cleansing that I do. And this has been used for 1,000 years, but I'm very picky about how I do things, how I move in, and I like hearing how other people use that also.
You'd be in some fantastic conversations. You probably enjoy talking to Chris because, like I said, he works with the Catholic Church and does the first investigation if the church has been, having a problem. You go to the church. You first goes through Chris. He comes to your place, checks it out, and then either fixes it or turns it over to Catholic Church.
Well, see, that's a good thing about us too, is like because I have Outer Realms Paranormal. We have that nationwide paranormal with Aaron Wing. We have all those for in-house. So, but we are an independent Catholic ministry. So, we have an archbishop who's over. We have a bishop in the UK. I'm over here. So we can, if it gets into demonic activity and things like that, we can handle that here.
Because once in a while in New Orleans, you do have issues because New Orleans is it's a crossroads. I compare it to Atlanta. If you anywhere in Georgia, Alabama, you got to go through Atlanta before you go anywhere. Like
Yes.
that's the hub, and New Orleans kind of acts like a hub for the paranormal. People pass away somewhere else, they go through New Orleans first before they
It's
go
very
on.
dark there. Very dark in New Orleans. Man,
Yes,
that place has had like lots and lots. I mean, their voodoo and hoodoo is extraordinary there. And I mean, you really have to watch, you know, like how you move in the paranormal in New Orleans because, man, if somebody puts something on you there, they can do it
right.
without you even knowing.
Yes. That's why when I first went down there, went by Marie Laveau's crypt, and she was a hairdresser. So I made an offering of a tie that I had tie my ponytail. Can't see me like I got quite long hair. Uh, and asked her permission to investigate down there.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
blessed me with saying she would not interfere at all with whatever I want to do paranormally down there.
Well, it's good. That's good.
So I can get away with a lot of stuff paranormally down in New Orleans.
That's good.
And we've stayed at the Andrew Jackson, which is one of the destinations that the New Orleans Paranormal Society takes people to almost every night. They have a closet there, which is a storeroom. The most haunted room is the room that's above that storeroom.
Nice.
I was telling Sean one night that they like to play tricks with you. They'll dim the lights or raise the lights. Next thing you know, it's going up and down with the lights, like somebody's playing with the fader.
Right.
And it's a clean hotel, and they do rent out occasionally. But if you stay in there very long and start calling out to the spirits, open up a spirit box or something, all of a sudden roaches start appearing.
Mm.
Like I said, the most haunted place is actually right below there, where they go in there and open up spirit boxes 5-6 nights a week and talk to spirits there. I was down there in the spring in that room with Chris. Jennifer had already stepped away. I think I'm trying to remember if she was there or not. She was there earlier, and we were listening to voice. And this one kid that was there, we had some fun with. Public tour, obviously. He said he kept hearing the name Toby, and somebody else had said they heard the name Toby when they were inside that closet alone with a spirit box. And I said, okay, that's my fault. Because Chris said, I've never heard the word Toby here before. He said, I've been coming here 4, 5, 6 nights a week for several years. I've never heard the word Toby before. I said, that's on me. That's a friend of mine that died about 2005, 2006. So apparently he came down to New Orleans. He didn't follow me to Chicago. He didn't follow me here. He's never contacted me here in Arkansas. But there he was in New Orleans, a place he never went to in life. But there he was at the Andrew Jackson. When I investigated there 2 nights in a row several years ago, one room, a guy who was not a cast member, but a roadie for Ghost Adventures wanted to go on a real investigation, so they told him to follow me. And of course, I sent him into a room all by himself. Typical Ghost Adventures with a voice recorder only. He was in there for about 5 minutes and then came out screaming because he had a loud, audible growl he heard with his ears. Fortunately, he was kind of a pro about this part. He got the recording. And it is a very loud growl he got in his voice recorder.
Hey guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up. 5:30 comes early for me today.
Yeah, I got to be in a doctor's office at 8:15.
All right, guys. Well, Len, thank you for having me on.
Shane, it's been a pleasure. We could sit here all night long and talk paranormal.
Yep.
I hope everybody found it fascinating. We had a lot of conversation, a lot of questions in the chat room. So I appreciate all of them dropping by. I appreciate Sean working it instead of Gwen tonight. He's been really good about it. Sorry you had the problems earlier, Shane.
Yeah. It's
Once you
bound to
reset
happen
the
to one
router,
of us.
yeah, once you reset the router, everything was cool and
Yes.
didn't have any more problems.
Nope.
And so we ended up with a very good show, very
Yes,
talkative show. Hopefully this went out a whole bunch of places. People know you and I both a little bit better.
Right. And I thank you. I thank you for having me on. I really appreciate shows like this, where we just get to know each other and stuff like that. So I mean, but thank you for having me on. It's been a blast, and I really enjoy being here.
Well, I really appreciate you being on the show, and I want to thank Sean too for directing.
Thanks, Sean.
No problem, guys. And I'm glad you're feeling better, Shane.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Get better, Shane.
All right.
Wish you the best, and stay cool, and Merry Christmas.
All right, Merry Christmas to y'all too. Y'all take care, okay?
Go to the New Orleans Paracon.com, and you'll see everybody that's there. And by the way, that big Catholic church down there, one of the oldest Catholic churches in North America, is open for tours. They will allow you just to walk in the door and look around if you want to.
Nice.
It's a working church. They let you walk in there and look around and take pictures if you want.
Nice. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful night, okay?
Good night.
Good night,
all right. Be blessed, guys.
You too. Sean, let's go ahead and wrap it up real quick.
All righty.
Thank you to everybody who came by tonight to talk with us. Appreciate it. Appreciate the very interesting guests that we had. And I look forward next week who did I say I was going to have? Kevin Kane. I just sent him a friend request day before yesterday. So he had some problems. His page was canceled, so he approved. I had to send him another request on his new site. So good night, Laura. So we're going to work out some details, but he just says he wants to be on the show next week. So that's next week. Yes, 2 weeks from tonight. By the way, Sean, it's going to be what I want to do is get everybody here do a show for about an hour. You get a chance for everybody on the network to come in, say what they're doing for Christmas, and wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And because I'm not going to do one on New Year's Eve, I don't want to do a show that night. I'm going to be busy. I got a nice quart of really quick clear liquid I'm going to be enjoying. That was a Christmas gift. It's sitting in the refrigerator right now. So I don't want to come on here drinking untaxed liquor.
Well, the next 4 weeks will round off season 3 of the Eternal X Wolf Pack. And after that, I'll probably take a little break before season 4 starts. So,
all right. So if you come in next Thursday night, all I request, no turkey suits, no turkey drops, but wear your Christmas jammies.
I'll see if I can find some.
Or at least something that says Merry Christmas.
See what I got.
I'll be in my Christmas jammies and a Santa hat.
All righty.
All right. Have a good night.
There we go.
Good night, everybody. And remember, the paranormal never sleeps, but I need to. Good night, everybody. Roll will come out.
All right. Here we go.